You've probably heard of hypersonic weapons, those terrifying war machines capable of insane speeds that can make any enemy tremble. But did you know that China is developing a weapon even more frightening, one that can orbit the planet at hypersonic speeds and in an instant wipe out an entire city? This is the FOBS, Fractional Orbital Bombardment System, an invention that even top military experts can't afford to overlook. This weapon not only shatters the limits of range and speed, but it also renders all modern defense systems, from the United States' advanced missiles to space surveillance networks, useless. Once this system takes off, nothing can stop it, making it a threat that could shift the course of global warfare in the blink of an eye. With this terrifying power, FOBS has the United States on high alert and in a state of extreme tension. Every defense plan must now consider how to deal with this space-based weapon, seen as a potential game-changer in global strategic calculations. Let's dive into the mysterious details of this fearsome weapon in today's video on the Navy Power Channel, and explore why it could be the decisive factor in the future of global warfare. The US military believes FOBS is designed specifically to counter them, and they cannot remain silent in the face of this threat. FOBS is essentially an upgraded version of the Intercontinental Ballistic Missile, ICBM, but with superior range and speed, posing a major concern for the US. Once launched, FOBS enters a low Earth orbit and can circle the planet, ready to strike at any moment. When the time comes, it will descend at 27 times the speed of sound, 9 times faster than any plane currently in operation. Imagine a weapon that descends to Earth from orbit, rather than flying directly like a traditional missile. That's how FOBS attacks. And instead of carrying astronauts like the space shuttle, it carries a deadly nuclear warhead. With its global reach, FOBS can attack the US from any direction, and it's even faster than intercontinental ballistic missiles, with a response time reduced by at least 10 minutes compared to a conventional attack. This means that once the US detects the threat, they have only minutes to prepare before a devastating strike occurs. But if you think the US has enough time to prepare defenses, remember that, thanks to FOBS's ability to glide through space, it can evade US missile defense systems, causing catastrophic damage. It sounds like a science fiction movie, but in reality, FOBS isn't a new weapon concept. China actually copied this idea from another military superpower, the Soviet Union. Back in the 1960s, during the Cold War, the Soviet Union focused on developing weapons designed to neutralize the US's powerful missile defense systems. Throughout the Cold War, the Soviet Union developed the Fractional Orbital Bombardment System, FOBS, as a countermeasure to significant gaps in its strategic missile forces compared to the US. At its peak, the US had a network of military bases spread across 4 continents, allowing them to launch nuclear strikes on any target around the world. This gave the US a clear strategic advantage, forcing the Soviet Union to develop ways to deliver attacks that could not be easily detected or intercepted by the enemy's defenses. With FOBS, the Soviet Union was able to launch strikes from low Earth orbit, making it nearly impossible for US early warning radar systems to detect and respond. FOBS not only evaded detection by radar, but also made it more difficult for the US to retaliate effectively, as the missile could come from any direction, creating a serious asymmetry in nuclear confrontations. China, with its ambitions to expand and modernize its military, may have drawn inspiration from the Soviet Union's development trajectory. In the context of increasing tensions with the United States, China is seeking to develop similar capabilities to counter advanced American missile defense systems. This not only involves kinetic interceptor missiles, but also new attack platforms like FOBS, Fractional Orbital Bombardment Systems, which have the potential to strike without being intercepted by current or future US missile defense systems. In August 2021, China tested a hypersonic FOBS weapon, raising suspicions that they are developing a new type of spacecraft. However, given that China is engaged in an intense arms race, this explanation seems unlikely to convince the international community. So the biggest question here is, why is China developing such a destructive weapon, and why accelerate the process so rapidly? The answer may not be much different from the reason the Soviet Union developed FOBs over 50 years ago to counter US missile defense system. However, now, amid growing global strategic tensions, China's motivations have become clearer than ever. The US, with its robust missile defense network, from advanced radar systems to modern interceptors, has always been confident in its ability to thwart any nuclear threat. Yet FOBs represents a vulnerability that the US cannot fully defend against. With the ability to enter orbit and strike from any direction, this system makes American missile defense systems nearly useless. China, fully aware that traditional ballistic missiles or hypersonic missiles could be intercepted in the future, has recognized FOBs as a strategic loophole that no one can easily counter. With the rapid development of missile and space technologies, China is investing in weapons that not only have the potential to break through defense systems, but also catch their adversaries completely off guard. FOBs is the only weapon capable of reaching and striking targets without being detected by early warning radar and without being blocked by kinetic interceptors. This is precisely why China is pushing to develop and deploy this system at a breakneck pace. Undoubtedly, Beijing is acutely aware of the strategic power of FOBs. It's not just a weapon of mass destruction, but also a potent deterrent, forcing the US and other nations to be cautious. Once FOBs becomes a reality, it will shift the global security landscape, presenting significant challenges to all existing defense systems, especially to US strategic plans. But how will the US respond to this threat? Can they prove to China that their nuclear deterrence capabilities are strong enough to render FOBs useless? The US is well known for its ability to respond to threats. However, in this standoff, can the US develop an effective defense strategy to counter FOBs? That remains a big question. The future of warfare will no longer just be fought on the ground or beneath the oceans. It will extend into space, where every decision and maneuver will have profound implications for global security. Are we witnessing the beginning of a true space arms race? Feel free to comment below with your thoughts. You've probably heard about China's space bases and the types of sci-fi weapons they are testing. However, Marco Longbroek, an expert on space-related matters, has a different perspective. He believes the US should expand the range of its missile defense systems and deploy anti-satellite missiles. However, many argue that this is just a defensive measure and not necessarily the best approach. Remember the Sputnik crisis of 1957, when the Soviet Union successfully launched the first artificial satellite into space? It sent shockwaves through the entire United States. Could history repeat itself? Let's dive into this with Navy power. The Sputnik crisis is seen as a historic moment that forced the world to stop and confront a deep fear. Had the Soviet Union surpassed the United States in space technology? When Sputnik 1, the world's first artificial satellite, was launched into orbit on October 4, 1957, from the Baikonur Cosmodrome, it wasn't just a scientific milestone, it was a global shock. For people in the West, especially in the US, it was a harsh wake-up call about the technological gap between the two superpowers. They were not only worried about the Soviet Union's military capabilities, but also about its growing potential in the space race. Sputnik 1 quickly became a symbol of the technological crisis, with major newspapers like the New York Times publishing articles about the event, with more than 279 articles published throughout October 1957. An average of more than 11 articles a day. Experts, politicians, and the public were all uneasy, fearing that the Soviet Union could access space and pose a threat to the US, not just from the ground, but from above. The Sputnik crisis not only led to the creation of NASA, but also sparked a fierce and tense space race between the US and the Soviet Union. A race that wasn't just about space control, but about determining the future of technological dominance and military power. And if we look back now, it's possible we're on the brink of a second Sputnik, this time with superpowered space weapons, where the next moves will shape not only the course of war, but the survival of global powers. One of the US's strategic options is to encourage neighboring countries to develop their own missile defense systems to intercept nuclear attacks before they reach American borders. One of the defense systems within the U.S., such as the ground-based Midcourse Defense System in Alaska, costs up to $70 billion, while a defense base in Fort Drum, New York, alone required $3.6 billion for the first 5 years of operations. Moreover, China is increasingly blurring the lines between space and non-space attacks, and the U.S. Space Force is not hesitating to spend money to keep China under control. Do you think it's time for the U.S. to open its purse strings to protect space? Not just China's FOBs, but also satellites capable of disabling American satellites? For example, in 2013, China launched a satellite named Xi'an, not a typical satellite, but one equipped with robotic arms, large enough to capture and pull other satellites out of orbit. China officially described this as research, but what do you think about that claim? Could this be a move preparing for potential space weapons that are highly dangerous? Share your thoughts in the comments below for Navy Power to hear. It's not just China. Russia is also stepping up. They have launched 3 satellites with capabilities to strike in space. In 2014, Russia launched the Cosmos 2499 satellite, which, while officially known by that name, is better known by a more ominous nickname, Kamikaze, a spacecraft designed to maneuver close to another satellite and neutralize or even destroy it. This isn't just any satellite, it's a weapon in space. A weapon that can strike from above, bypassing any existing defense systems, and completely alter the strategic space landscape. Lieutenant Andrew Ingle, who monitors threats to military and civilian satellites at Vandenberg, emphasized, anything with that capability can easily be converted into an offensive weapon. Satellites like Cosmos 2499 are not just communication or observation tools. They could be the daggers floating in space, waiting to strike any target at any time. And this is the new frontier of space that we are facing. As Ingle has stated, this requires extremely advanced technology and sophisticated defense strategies to cope with it. Retired General William Shelton, former commander of the Air Force Space Command, compared Russia's Cosmos 2499 to a Trojan horse in space. You might have something in orbit that looks like a communications satellite, but in reality, it's a weapon, Shelton warned. A weapon that, if left unchecked, could completely disrupt all concepts of space security. In 2017, Russia launched a smaller satellite capable of launching objects. By 2019, Russia had launched a Matryoshka-Dal satellite, combining the capabilities of the 2 previous satellites, capable of moving at various speeds and launching objects. This was a significant step forward in space warfare, and surely the US could not ignore it. As Russia began deploying these weapons, the US Space Force was established precisely in the year that Russia's first combat satellite was launched. Since then, the US has kept many of its activities under wraps, but it's easy to see that they are preparing something big. Not only the US Space Force, but the entire US military, from the Air Force with its 6th-generation fighter jets to companies like Lockheed Martin, Boeing, and Northrop Grumman, are developing high-powered lasers capable of slicing satellites into pieces or disabling missiles mid-flight. So, can China's FOBS bases be considered invulnerable? The US could potentially disrupt China's plans quickly with its space capabilities. Additionally, the US possesses the world's most powerful air force and the largest aircraft carriers in history. Therefore, China must carefully consider its nuclear weapons strategy. A peaceful dialogue, beneficial not only for China but for the world, could be a wise move. While China has tested the FOBS system, a strategic weapon capable of attacking targets from space, raising concerns globally, have you ever wondered whether Russia, with its massive nuclear arsenal, possesses any strategic weapons that could escalate global tensions to a new level? Behind strong claims of nuclear power, Russia has formidable strategic weapons, the most notable of which is the RS-28 Sarmat missile, an intercontinental ballistic missile capable of launching nuclear warheads at any target worldwide from thousands of miles away. This is not just a weapon, but a powerful message of deterrence to the West, as international tensions continue to rise. Will the Sarmat and other weapons systems change the landscape of nuclear warfare in the future? The answer could make the entire world take notice. The RS-28 Sarmat, dubbed Satan II in the West, is a symbol of Russia's military power in the 21st century. Designed to carry nuclear warheads and strike targets thousands of miles away, the RS-28 Sarmat can reach Europe or the US, posing a significant threat to nuclear powers. However, the development of this weapon has encountered some setbacks in testing, delaying its deployment. In September of this year, weapon experts reported that Russia seemed to have failed its most recent test, as a launch created a large crater at the launch site. Satellite images from Maxar Technologies, taken on September 21st, show a crater approximately 60 meters wide at the launch site in Plesetsk Cosmodrome in northern Russia, reflecting the complexity and challenges of perfecting such a weapon. Still, the RS-28 Sarmat is considered one of the most powerful ballistic missiles in the world. The missile is 35 meters long, weighs over 208 tons, and has a range of up to 11,000 miles. This is a significant leap compared to previous weapons systems, with the ability to carry up to 16 independently targetable nuclear warheads, each capable of striking different targets in a single launch. This increases the missile's ability to bypass modern missile defense systems, making the RS-28 Sarmat a critical strategic element in Russia's nuclear arsenal. The US and its allies are closely monitoring this development, especially as the conflict between Moscow and Kiev enters a more dangerous phase, raising tensions. President Vladimir Putin has repeatedly affirmed that Russia possesses the largest and most advanced nuclear arsenal in the world, warning the West not to cross any red lines or risk triggering nuclear war. Although the Sarmat is still under development, Russia has stated that once it is operational, it will replace older systems like the Soviet-era SS-18 missiles. However, the deployment process has been delayed multiple times, leading to prolonged anticipation for the Sarmat's debut. With its superior power and strategic capabilities, the RS-28 Sarmat is not just a weapon, but also a powerful tool in Russia's nuclear deterrence policy, reflecting Moscow's commitment to maintaining its superpower military status in the modern world. But the question remains, is there a connection between China and Russia in these space weapon strategies? Share your thoughts in the comments below the video. We'd love to hear your views. If you found this video engaging and informative, don't forget to like it below to help the channel grow. You've likely never heard of a weapon that strikes fear across the globe, quite like this one, a missile hailed by Russia as the crown jewel of the Russian Empire, and referred to by the United States as Putin's Joker. Imagine this, over 20 trillion rubles have been spent on its development over the past decade, and that's just the tip of the iceberg. What's truly behind this figure? More importantly, how might it affect global security, particularly the safety of the United States? The Avangard missile isn't just a technological breakthrough. It has the potential to obliterate America's missile defense systems in an instant. Are you ready to join Navy Power to uncover the truth behind this nightmare? Avangard is a hypersonic glide missile capable of reaching its target at speeds beyond the capabilities of any current missile defense system. Armed with a nuclear warhead ranging from 0.8 to 2 megatons, it streaks across the sky like a fireball, generating a plasma cloud with temperatures of 2,900 to 3,600 degrees Fahrenheit. Its design allows it to achieve speeds of Mach 27, or approximately 12,800 miles per hour, faster than any existing missile and even surpassing the first cosmic velocity. This means that even without carrying a nuclear warhead, Avangard can destroy targets purely with its kinetic energy. Do you think this is just a sci-fi hypothesis? Take a closer look at reality. The US missile defense system, considered the most advanced in the world, is utterly powerless against such a hypersonic threat. Former President Trump once remarked that Russia is challenging America's defense systems, and perhaps he wasn't wrong. At this speed, no defense system on Earth can intercept the Avangard missile. Let's take a quick look at other hypersonic missiles in Russia's arsenal. First is the air-launched Kinzhal missile, followed by the Zircon missile, and finally, the Avangard. These missiles have been deployed in attacks on Ukraine, reaching speeds of Mach 8 to 10, or about 4,707 and 600 miles per hour. While these missiles can sometimes be intercepted by Western defense systems, like Patriot or NASAMS, they still inflict severe damage on Ukraine's infrastructure. Avangard, however, with its ability to penetrate all defense systems, has undergone more than 14 tests between 1990 and 2018. But it was perhaps the December 2018 test that truly shocked the world. At the Dombarovsky base in Orenburg province, an unprecedented test took place. This weapon wasn't just mounted on an SS-19 ballistic missile. It traveled over 3,700 miles, pierced through the atmosphere, and struck its target with precision at the Kura test range in Kamchatka. An undeniable demonstration of power left the world with one pressing question. If this weapon can bypass all of America's defense lines, can we truly sleep peacefully? We'd love to hear your thoughts on the incredible potential of the Avangard, a weapon capable of redefining the global balance of power. Don't hesitate to leave your comments below this video. But what makes the Avangard so special? It's the speed. Not only is it faster than the Kinzhal and Zircon, but it surpasses even the most ambitious expectations of experts. Military analysts agree that while many doubted the existence of such hypersonic missiles, they are now a reality on the battlefield, with Russia leading the charge. In March 2018, Vladimir Putin shocked the world when he announced the superior capabilities of the Avangard hypersonic weapon system. This missile can sustain atmospheric speeds of up to Mach 20, or 13,920 miles per hour, a speed so extreme that even the most advanced technologies struggle to keep pace. Why is Avangard not just a weapon, but a nightmare engineered to change the course of warfare? With an impressive range of over 3,700 miles and a payload capacity of up to 4,400 pounds, it can carry either nuclear or conventional warheads, making its strike capability both highly flexible and extremely dangerous. A report from TASS reveals that the nuclear warhead of the Avangard missile has a destructive power equivalent to over 2 megatons of TNT, a staggering force capable of obliterating a major city like New York in an instant. Russia has deployed these missiles in remote areas, far from critical targets, to minimize the risk of destruction during an attack. The missiles are housed in fortified silos with steel-reinforced doors weighing 264,000 pounds, capable of withstanding aerial, bomb, or missile attacks. Buried as deep as 230 feet, each silo contains an intercontinental launch vehicle ready for activation at the push of the legendary red button. But how can the US detect and counter this threat? That is the pressing question military experts are striving to answer. The US satellite system has just 180 seconds to detect an intercontinental missile upon launch. If the missile evades satellite detection, America's last line of defense would be ground-based systems like the Ground-Based Midcourse Defense, GMD. However, for systems like GMD to intercept hypersonic missiles, target detection speed is critical. Radars such as PAVE-PAWS and other advanced systems at military bases in Alaska are tasked with monitoring and detecting missiles launched from Russia. But are they fast enough to contend with the Avangard? Only time will tell. What are your thoughts on these hypersonic weapons? Share your opinions on the threat posed by these missiles and their impact on global security. When considering how to protect the nation from nuclear threats posed by adversaries, we often envision defensive systems like radar stations, interceptor missiles, and intelligent counter-missile strategies. When confronting intercontinental missiles, the U.S. employs a range of defensive systems, such as the PAVE-PAWS radar or the SBX radar, mounted on offshore platforms. However, even these robust radars are limited to a range of approximately 1,250 miles, leaving gaps in global coverage. This limitation has led to the development of supplemental defenses, including the SBX radar on offshore platforms. Faced with Avangard, a deadly weapon with hypersonic speed and extraordinary maneuverability, can SBX still hold its ground against a threat of unimaginable velocity? The SBX radar system is one of the most advanced and powerful early warning technologies available today, designed to detect and alert against ballistic missiles from adversaries as soon as they leave the launch pad. With the ability to detect a missile within just 10 seconds of launch, SBX provides the U.S. with critical time to activate interceptor missiles, neutralizing threats at their earliest stage. But SBX's capabilities don't stop there. This system not only identifies targets, but also charts the trajectory of enemy missiles, providing essential data for intercepting them even after they cross enemy territory. Its power is so impressive that the SBX radar can detect an object as small as a baseball from as far as 2,920 miles away. Yet, is this sufficient to confront Avangard? Let's delve deeper into this conundrum. Why is Avangard stationed in Orenburg, far from Russia's borders, complicating U.S. radar efforts to detect launches early? Here's the answer. Avangard can be carried by outdated SS-19 Stiletto missiles or the RS-28 Sarmat, also known as Satan II. The Sarmat is so powerful it can carry up to 5 Avangard units, each weighing 4,400 pounds. But it doesn't stop there. The Sarmat can fly over the South Pole, bypassing all U.S. defense systems and delivering Avangard to its target without being detected. Can you imagine this? An intercontinental missile that takes a detour, not via the Arctic but through the Antarctic, evading all radar systems, only to suddenly plunge toward its target. This may sound like an unbelievable tactic, but the reality is quite clear. The U.S. missile defense systems are designed to counter intercontinental missiles launched over the Arctic from Eurasia. However, if a missile suddenly changes direction and travels through the Antarctic, U.S. early warning satellites would be incapable of detecting the threat. And when Avangard separates from its carrier missile, it continues its trajectory through space, gliding at Mach 15 and reaching speeds of 7,100 miles per hour. This makes it almost impossible to intercept, as within just 125 seconds, Avangard separates and operates autonomously. Once detached, Avangard doesn't simply freefall. It can maneuver independently, performing aerial acrobatics up, down, left, right, like a UFO gliding through space. In March 2018, President Vladimir Putin stunned the world by announcing that the Avangard Hypersonic Glide Vehicle (HGV) system had officially entered mass production. Not stopping there, in December of the same year, he made another shocking announcement. Russia would deploy its first Avangard regiment in 2019, a timeline much earlier than expected. Contrary to the predictions of most American analysts, who believed Avangard wouldn't become operational until the early 2020s, this deployment was a significant shock. That same month, Defense Minister Sergei Shoigu confirmed a crucial detail. 31 launchers for intercontinental ballistic missiles, ICBMs, Yars and Avangard will take on combat duty in the Strategic Missile Forces. This was a clear declaration of intent. With its hypersonic speed and precise strike capability, Avangard officially joined the ranks of active combat weapons, reshaping the global strategic warfare landscape. This event marked an irreversible turning point in the race for hypersonic weapons and raised a pressing question. Can the U.S. and other military powers effectively counter this weapon now that it is an integral part of Russia's strategic arsenal? So what can the U.S. do to respond? While current missile defense systems are designed to intercept missiles with stable trajectories, they are ineffective against erratic targets like Avangard. Recently, military experts estimated that to intercept one Avangard, the U.S. might need to deploy multiple interceptor missiles, with each engagement lasting a few tense seconds. The THAAD interceptor missile can reach speeds of Mach 8, or about 6,000 miles per hour, but given Avangard's flight speed and its ability to make sudden maneuvers, the chances of intercepting even a single Avangard are nearly zero. Thus, while Avangard renders modern defense systems ineffective, the US is actively exploring countermeasures. One approach is to increase the number of radar systems and missile launchers. However, this solution is extremely costly and would take significant time to implement. Another option is to develop missiles similar to Avangard to match its capabilities. But is this truly the best path forward? What do you think is the best way to counter Avangard? Can the US develop new technology to face this formidable weapon? Share your thoughts with Navy Power in the comments below. Can you imagine a weapon capable of striking in mere minutes, so fast that no defense system has time to react? A weapon not only hypersonic but capable of gliding through space, unpredictably altering its trajectory and striking targets with precision while leaving no room for retaliation. That is the destructive power of Avangard. If Russia chooses to use it in an actual campaign, the world will witness a dramatic shift in modern warfare. Imagine a sudden strike on a strategic target in Europe or the United States, with the Avangard missile hurtling through the sky at Mach 20, unstoppable, undetectable in time. With its maneuverability, Avangard evades all existing missile defense systems, from interceptors to early warning radars. Equipped with a nuclear warhead capable of a 2-megaton TNT equivalent explosion, a single Avangard missile could level a major city in mere seconds. Consider the scenario of an attack on New York City, one of America's most critical financial and political hubs. Avangard, carrying a nuclear warhead with the destructive force of more than 2 megatons of TNT, would streak across the sky at Mach 20. Within minutes, it would cross vast distances, bypass all defenses, and strike at the city's core. Upon detonation, the nuclear warhead would unleash a massive explosion. In an instant, Manhattan's heart, home to millions, thousands of skyscrapers, and countless vital facilities, would be obliterated. The blast's power would not only demolish everything within several miles, but also generate shockwaves strong enough to collapse buildings farther away, causing catastrophic damage across the region. Heat and radiation would incinerate everything in sight, while the nuclear explosion would trigger a minor earthquake, shaking the city to its foundations. This destructive capability means that Avangard doesn't just annihilate a city, it cripples an entire nation, plunging its economy and political system into utter chaos. However, Russia isn't the only country with hypersonic weapon technology. China, making significant strides in developing such systems, has unveiled the DF-17, a breakthrough missile poised to shift the global military balance of power. The DF-17 is one of China's most notable hypersonic weapons. Entering military service in 2019, it is a medium-range ballistic missile equipped with a hypersonic glide warhead. The DF-17 boasts a range of up to 1,120 miles and can travel at speeds of Mach 5 or higher, 5 times the speed of sound, allowing it to bypass current missile defense systems. What sets the DF-17 apart is its ability to maneuver during the final phase of its journey, with the hypersonic warhead detaching and gliding through the atmosphere at extreme speeds, making its trajectory almost impossible to predict. Armed with either nuclear or conventional warheads, the DF-17 can target strategic assets such as military bases, airports, or command centers. In mere minutes, this weapon can obliterate a critical target, inflicting severe damage on enemy military systems and infrastructure. Avangard, a hypersonic missile capable of shaking the global order, breaks through all defense strategies and instills fear even in the most powerful military nations. With unmatched speed, unpredictable maneuverability, and devastating power, Avangard is more than just a weapon. It represents a fundamental shift in the global power dynamic. If you want to uncover more groundbreaking weapons and never-before-seen military strategies, don't miss the thrilling and informative content on the Navy Power channel. Subscribe now and hit the notification bell, as each video reveals secrets and fascinating insights you've never imagined. Don't forget to like this video and share it with friends so they too can explore the game-changing power of these world-altering weapons. And if you want to continue following sharp military and space weapons analyses, be sure to subscribe to the Navy Power channel and turn on notifications so you never miss a future video. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to come back to explore more exciting topics in our next videos.